Part 4. Solution. Chapter 9. So what do we do now? Now you are armed with knowledge. Take a minute to stop and breathe. This is all a lot to take in, I am sure. It was so empowering for my family when we finally knew what was going on with our daughter after years of her struggling. I hope you are finding this book to be informative and you find the following information helpful. Let it provide a sense of relief. By now, I hope that you have read enough of this book to confidently know if your child has dyslexia, dyscalculia, and/or dysgraphia. If you can identify at least 3 characteristics on any of the lists, it is time to get working on a solution. Suggestions for your struggling student. Solutions can come in many forms. Some solutions require little or no money. Others are a larger financial investment of time and money for your family. Not every solution will work for every member of your family. The dys affects each one of us differently, so our remedies can be different as well. Ask your child's teacher in writing for accommodations in class. Cautiously request an IEP. Request a 504 for your child. Buy your child games. Get audiobooks for your children. Teach your child using an Orton Gillingham-based program. Move to Texas and receive Orton Gillingham-based instruction in public school. Send your child to a specialized school. Homeschool your child. Trade school or apprenticeship. Do nothing, just hope and pray it goes away. However, if it's severe, they will struggle forever to hide their weaknesses. The first 3 items listed require you, the parent, to be an advocate for your child. I have seen parents make miracles happen for their children through advocacy. Be prepared to stand up to your child's teacher, special ed teacher, vice principal, possibly the principal or superintendent if necessary. You also have to realize teachers and the school staff are not well educated in regard to dyslexia, dyscalculia, or dysgraphia. You may need to be the one to educate them because they don't know what your child needs. Don't be intimidated by them because they are the ones holding the degree in education. They don't truly know your child and they aren't looking out for his or her best interest. Only you are. Let's address some out-of-the-box options available that might be helpful to improve your child's academic experience and can aid you in compiling appropriate solutions for your child's individual needs. Ask your child's teacher in writing for accommodations in class. You might have agreed upon accommodations in writing because it will make it easier to get teachers in the future to continue providing accommodations. Students can receive classroom accommodations without an IEP, ARD, or 504. Asking your child's teacher for accommodations will reduce some of their anxiety in the classroom. Be prepared that sometimes teachers don't realize that you are asking for accommodations, even when you clearly tell them this. Sometimes, however, even when they understand, they are afraid this will put a huge burden on them. It is up to you to make them see the benefit this can bring to your child, as well as other children in the classroom. Some easy-to-implement accommodations are: ask the teacher not to make your child read out loud. Reading out loud puts undue pressure on your child, and not reading out loud doesn't require any preparation on the teacher's part. Ask them not to use popcorn reading in your child's classroom. It elevates undue stress on more children's lives than just your child's, probably more than they are aware of. If the teacher refuses to stop this activity, then ask them to, at the bare minimum, not to call on your child. Cautiously request an IEP. I say proceed with caution because 90% of traditional schools will expect you to use their inappropriate special ed services and it is a long, hard journey. Request a 504 for your child. Please be aware that this is not a simple feat. Before I actually went through the process, I thought it was going to be an easy activity, but it turned out to be more challenging than I was prepared for. Most school staff are unfamiliar with the 504 process. Kids love games, so buy lots of them. Apps for your phone or computer games can keep them busy and teach them skills. Old-fashioned board or card games are great activities to do as a family. Each game offers different opportunities to advance specific skills and help fill in some of your child's gaps, and they just think they are having fun. Invest in audiobooks for your children. Today, we are fortunate enough to have a plethora of options available. This is probably the most valuable gift you can give any dyslexic child because reading is more challenging for us. Dyslexics tend not to read as much as their peers, which is more detrimental for their vocabulary than anything else. Literature provides the best source of advanced vocabulary, much higher quality than TV shows or movies can provide. So if your child can't read, at least they can keep up with peers verbally, thanks to audiobooks. The best way to use audiobooks is to listen to them while reading along, but some kids don't embrace this and just listen to an audiobook they are assigned to read, which also works. They can access thousands of books via audio. This is not a cop-out. I used to think it was, but this is the most valuable tool you can give your child. It is imperative that your child learn to read and spell using an Orton Gillingham approach. It is the difference between day and night. I spent 3 years paying teachers to tutor my daughter after school to no avail, and after just a few weeks of Orton Gillingham-based instruction, she was beginning to spell and read better. Listening to TED Talks also provides a similar exposure to quality vocabulary as listening to audiobooks. I have a student who came to me at age 17, reading on a 3rd grade level at the time, yet she had the most amazing vocabulary. She was equipped to carry on just about any conversation with the adults, despite the fact that she couldn't write without the aid of her spell checker. Learn how to teach your child using an Orton Gillingham-based program. There are a few programs on the market that are designed for parents to teach their children using an Orton Gillingham method. I am excited to share with you that I am currently in the process of developing a program of my own. This is what I did in 2011. My intention was to just teach my youngest son, since my daughter had already been taught using an Orton Gillingham program. Then I discovered not all programs are created equally, and I made her work with me. And for the last year, I have been tutoring my husband. It is definitely harder to tutor your family, but if money is tight, or you're a do-it-yourself disciplined kind of person, it is definitely a viable option. It is better to help your child yourself than to do nothing. Working with your child on something that is very difficult can be a grueling undertaking, to say the least. Even my adult husband was a pain during the first 3 months of tutoring. Another possibility is to find another family whose child needs Orton Gillingham-based tutoring and trade. The last year my youngest Sammy was tutored, it was with another mom. It was the best thing I ever did for our relationship. You tutor their child, and they tutor yours. It is a win-win. And of course, another option is to hire a tutor to teach your child one-on-one using an Orton Gillingham-based program. It is imperative that your tutor is using an Orton Gillingham approach. Hiring a tutor who is trained to teach students who have dyslexia, dyscalculia, or dysgraphia is, in my opinion, the best solution. The experience a trained tutor brings to the table will save you a lot of time and frustration in the long run. It is also great because the tutoring time can be customized to the individual's needs and momentum. I know I keep repeating myself, but please make sure the tutor is trained using an Orton Gillingham method. We paid a tutor to work with our daughter for 3 years before we knew she was dyslexic, and it was truly a waste of time and resources. Sometimes it is challenging to find an Orton Gillingham tutor locally. However, you're in luck, as we offer remote tutoring online anywhere in the world. So, if you can't find someone near you, Lexia Learners can help. Go to lexialearners.com. If moving is an option, Texas has Orton Gillingham instruction available in their public schools. One of our families did just this. Her children attended a regular private school and began tutoring with us. I gave her this suggestion, and by the end of the summer, they had their house sold and had moved to Texas. I followed up with her a few months later after they had moved, and she said it was the best decision they have ever made. Moving to Texas is a great option in my opinion. I loved living in Texas. Kids are taught respect, the community is supportive, and the education is superior to many school districts in America. Their dyslexia program is free during school hours, so it doesn't affect your wallet or your schedule. Over the years, I have discovered that not all school districts are equal. As in the lower income areas, there are not enough dyslexia teachers to go around, so do your homework before you make the move. There are only a couple of disadvantages. First, the services are provided in a small group setting, not one-on-one, so it will not be individualized for your child. Second, it may be harder for you to convince your spouse to pack up everything and start fresh in Texas than it was for our client. If this is a possibility for you, rest assured all school districts, no matter the economic dynamics of the community, provide Orton Gillingham-based instruction to students 3rd grade and up who are tested and determined to be dyslexic during the rest of their classes. To my knowledge, classes for dyslexia or dysgraphia are not offered. When we first moved to California and I was still doing real estate, we found a private school near us that specialized in dyslexia and a few other learning differences. And I thought that was our answer. Because my youngest son has sensory issues, those will be covered in another book, and the fact that after he had been out of traditional school for 3 years, he was not able to tolerate a 3-day visit. He called us in tears and asked us to pick him up. I was devastated, until I realized that every year a couple of students who attended the school for 1 year pulled their child out and was now at our doorstep seeking private tutoring. So, before putting your child into a specialized school, see how other children have fared. There are boarding schools that specialize in dyslexia that sound amazing because they offer so many wonderful extracurricular classes to their students. Most of them are located in the East Coast, and they are extremely costly. Personally, even if I was in a financial position to pay for it, I couldn't personally send my babies away to boarding school. But remember, this is the option my grandparents chose, and it worked for my mother and uncle. In my personal opinion, homeschooling is by far the best solution for families with dyslexic children. They can mature and learn at their own pace without peer pressure. The financial costs are minimal compared to private school, and your children can receive an individualized educational plan that is perfectly suited for them. Homeschooled children don't have self-esteem issues because they aren't being compared to their classmates. They won't develop an inferiority complex or continue to feel inferior to their peers. They can learn the same material that is taught in school using methods that are easier to use for them to successfully learn. Or they can learn traveling the world. Your options are endless. Many parents think homeschooling is much harder than it is in reality. It takes some time for families to adjust to their new lifestyle. We call this the deschooling period. And once they do, homeschooling can make all the difference in the world. My youngest son started homeschooling in 3rd grade and was behind in reading, writing, and especially math. Plus, he had to take ADD medication in order to sit through a day of school. Fast forward to freshman year in high school, he was reading on grade level and is almost completely caught up in math. For more information regarding confidently homeschooling your child, again, visit lexialearners.com and click on the homeschool consultation link. Turn back time and encourage trade school, an apprenticeship, or a career where reading isn't the number one requirement for success. My son Jacob actually did both after trying a couple of classes at the community college. He began working as an apprentice at a makerspace after 2 years of being a student and graduating from high school, shortly after turning 17. At age 18, he began trade school for welding. Today, at age 19, as stated earlier, he teaches welding to adults and makerspace classes to children at Urban Workshop. The last option is by far the easiest option, but the most detrimental. Do nothing. Hope and pray your child will be okay. If it's mild or moderate dyslexia, they should have the ability to learn to compensate. However, if it's severe, they will struggle forever to hide their deficits. Since you have invested time in reading this book, I don't think you are among the ranks to choose this option.